These proceedings are being recorded for the sole purpose of constituting the accuracy of written minutes. Tapes are reused, eliminating recorded records of these proceedings. Approval of the minutes of the previous meeting held April 25th, 2019.
Let's see if you're awake.
So moved.
Second the motion.
Mr. O'Gore?
Yes.
Mr. Gerhart?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes. Are there any guests concerning county business at this time? Ms. Lukasevich. Ms. Lukasevich was first. I'm sorry, Virginia.
Good morning, Commissioners. I don't know how sincere everything is with regards to the building project on Susquehanna Street, but I know that it cost a lot of money for the study that was done. What I want to know is how much will a new study cost the taxpayers? Because I know there's going to be another study that will have to be done before you can go on with your project there. Do you have any idea what that cost might be to the taxpayers?
I do not, but a lot of the information that was gathered originally and a lot of the expenses we did occur will be used in the, towards the study of, how we're gonna proceed, let's say, what we can and can't do.
In other words, you haven't received any estimate from anyone as what it might even cost?
No, we have not, right now, we're in a very, very early stages of looking at our options. Until we know what our options are at that particular site, I don't think we can really come up with a good estimate of what it's gonna cost.
And do you have an idea of when the project will restart?
That I do not yet at this time.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Dulce, was that?
Yes, my name is James Dulce, and I reside at 174 Dulce Road, Packer Township. Okay, I want to address this bridge situation which Mr. Gerhart addressed. Now, the bridge was built in 1913.
Mr. Dulce, that issue was addressed last week with the issues.
No, it wasn't. I did some research. It's completely wrong. You cannot exempt that bridge. That bridge was built in 1913. I have a copy of the inspection report. The inspection report says the bridge is in poor condition. No trucks are allowed on it. No combination trucks are allowed on it. I have it right here, okay? And also, no one can exempt it. The only vehicle that is exempt from that bridge is a fire engine. If there's a fire at both sides of these bridges, the fire engine could cross that bridge one way, can't come back. That's the only time. You guys built a bridge in 1991 to alleviate this problem so that bridge isn't used. You've got federal and state money, okay? In 1991, they completed that bridge. That bridge is rated at 80,000. That is the bridge to be used. That 3-ton bridge, no one can exempt it. I spoke to the state police. I spoke to the state and federal people. You guys are liable, and I don't believe Carbon Engineering said that bridge is okay for over 3 ton, because he could be in a lot of trouble for that. All right? There's no truth to that whatsoever. State police said just call them, they'll come and enforce it. They have to. That bridge is inspected for a reason, and I have it right here, okay? And it's 3 ton period. School buses are not exempt. And whoever said that is a complete lie. Now, another thing I want to address. You guys talk about business. I've invested hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars into Packer Township. The last few years I have rentals up there. I own Stony Hill and Oak Hill Estates. I've been nothing but harassed, continuous. Okay, now this is county business. Because Mr. Gerhart and his wife, okay, do not want me to rent to black people. That's why they're harassing me. No, it is an issue here, Wayne. No, it is an issue.
Mr. Dulce, you're out of order. That is
It
Packer
is.
Township business.
No, it isn't, because he's a commissioner.
No,
And that's why I'm
no.
being picked on. Okay? Now, another thing is, I still have time. That thing with the church, okay? That's a joke. That should never be put there. That was his idea. Now, all of a sudden, they want to back away from it because it's so unpopular. All right? That should never be put there by historical church. You guys own a lot of real estate, put it somewhere else. I agree with those people 100%. And I was forced to sell my properties because of Mr. Gerhart and his wife, and I'm going to prove in court they're
Mr. Dulce, that
racist.
is- okay.
There are
Okay.
racists.
Next guest, Mr. Ruiz.
My name's John Drury, local concerned citizen. Again, since this is the only forum, and since there's really no opportunity for dialogue, we have to talk at you instead of with you. So, first of all, we want to thank you for adjusting the scope of your original plans for the Susquehanna Street project. It appears that your recently stated intentions to address when I say our, I'm talking about this SOS committee, you address our major concern, the physical integrity of St. Mark's and St. John's Episcopal Church. And that aspect of it has been satisfied, and we appreciate your efforts in that regard. Although there's still some outstanding details that are unresolved, no clear understanding on our part of exactly your proposed plan, and incidentally, no offer for us to be involved in your proposed plan. So we do anticipate involvement in the decision-making process for the remainder of the Susquehanna site development. You should know that there's a new initiative happening in order to gain more influence in the decision-making process within the county government. We are going to be starting an oversight committee. We can call it Citizens Advisory or Watchdog or Watchful Care, whatever. We feel the need for some group, and this is not unusual, to be involved in the governance here, but complementary, not adversarial. Also, how much time do I have? Another minute? And so anyhow, these Thursday morning commissioner meetings, really we understand them as political theater, where the commissioners, in order to meet some legal requirements, tolerate criticism, complaints about issues already decided, acted upon in some cases. So the public meeting here, the way it's run, is a bit of a sham, and unrelated to a true democratic process, but we hope to offer you some help in the future in that regard. Thank you.
Mr. Reichert.
Yeah, my name is Mark Reitz, and tourism, what started it? You know, Agnes McCartney, she did everything she could possibly do to push tourism. Keith McCall, 903, Turnpike slip. Mock Chunk Lake, flood control, recreation and parks. Beltsville State Park, the Francis C. Walter Dam. You know, they all added to tourism. The one thing about that they're all on the same plane is people lost their land. You know, eminent domain, the Chrismans at Beltsville, they lost their land. Nevin Snyder lost his land. Okay, now, another economic tourism plan started in the courthouse. It started from Hickory Run State Park to Jim Thorpe, eminent domain of land. When you come down through the state park, you see nothing except wilderness. You know, but people in Jim Thorpe lost land because of this. Jimmy Snyder lost 800 acres. All he wanted to do was hunt and walk in the woods. You know, Rimsky lost land. But, you know, the reason tourism comes here is because they look to the land. It's a really beautiful area. And my question is, why would you support wind towers in Packer Township? You know, because, you know, the economic engine of this area for tourism is wilderness. And, you know, we're not going to get anything out of these wind towers. And, you know, what is your political stance on the wind towers? We already know that you accepted a cash donation from Kovach for political campaign. Is it a pay to play for the wind towers?
The wind towers is not a county project. It is a local township issue. Okay?
Yeah, the only thing that I just, you know, I'm against the wind towers because, you know, everybody in our area sacrificed so that we could see wilderness, And, you know, the economic engine of the tourism is really starting to turn. Properties are coming around, more tourists are coming in, and, you know, it's a good thing. You know, and I look at those wind towers as they're not gonna give us much energy, and they're gonna do nothing for us.
Next guest, any more?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if this is county business or not, but my name is Andy Yurchak. I've worked for our county for 23 years in the corrections department. Been retired, completed my 3rd year, and I just stopped by to say thanks. You know, on all the bad notes, maybe you have a good note. I think you do a good job, and again, I don't know if it's fact or fiction, but Mr. Cramsey, I believe, is gonna retire shortly, is that?
That's true.
And
End of the year, Andy, I'll be joining you.
Yeah, and join us and enjoy it. Again, I appreciate everything, the opportunity to do my work, serve the county, and come out of it standing the way I entered today, and I appreciate everything, and again, good luck.
Thank you. Thanks, Andy.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you. Any other guests? Yes, Mr. Short.
Hi, Mike Shorten, resident of Jim Thorpe. I have a question with regards to the Susquehanna Street project. I wasn't at last week's meeting, but I understand you guys firmly announced that you are pulling the plug on the current plans and you're gonna revisit and figure out where you're gonna go from here. First, I wanna thank you and I appreciate that. Second is, from our lawsuit perspective, we cannot withdraw the lawsuit until the county withdraws their approval that they seek from the Jim Thorpe Borough. Has that been done?
It's not done yet. We're in that process.
You are, okay.
Yeah.
And will you get a copy of the letter to us when you do that? The formal letter requesting it?
Okay, we'll see what we can find for you. When we get
That
to it.
would allow us to withdraw the lawsuit at that point, so, you know, we don't have to
All right.
continue to spend money.
Bring it up, Mr. Shorten. Anyone else?
Yep, Chris Lukasevich, Jim Thorpe. Commissioner, where is the maintenance that is currently being done at 44 Susquehanna, the maintenance storage facility, going to be done in the future when they vacate that building?
We're not gonna do any maintenance at the storage
Okay,
building.
so
That's
an
the
operator level maintenance, organizational level maintenance, what's referred to as -10-20 level. So the operators in the morning, before they drive a government truck, will not be inspecting their vehicle, checking the oil, checking the radiator fluid.
You should be,
Well, where are they going to be doing that?
where everyone else does it. You do it at home outside?
Yeah, but I don't have to fall under state and federal laws for doing it. The county does. So who is advising the commissioners that the building, which is 74 Susquehanna, the maintenance and storage facility, is worthy of saving in regards to time, money, and effort? You state on multiple occasions you'd reuse that building.
That will be Form 1, the architect and our engineers.
Okay, so this is the same architect and engineer that got us to the point here where we invested hundreds of thousands of dollars and now we have to backstep.
That's
Those same engineers and same construction company, Boyle Construction. So how much has it cost the taxpayer up to this point for the nullified plan for St. Mark's, since we don't have an idea of future? So how much have we paid Boyle Construction?
You
Yeah.
asked the question before, how much we had invested in the project,
That is correct.
and that was over 500,000. I don't know if there were any additional
Okay.
bills that have come in since then, for sure. I
Right.
couldn't give you the
And-
exact amount.
Right, and you made it clear that some portions of that would be reutilized in the replan.
Good portion of
That's
that.
good. All right. Can you tell me how much so far has it cost us in time, money, and effort in regards to the planning for the critically needed Emergency Operations Training Center?
I'm not sure what that exact figure is.
Mhm.
If you're including the road, I think that, I'm not positive what the total cost was now
Yeah.
offhand.
Yeah. Now, I'm more just concerned with the planning, because the road, obviously, it's needed regardless what we do up there. Again, I'm
right.
concerned with having to redo all the planning, the architectural drawings, all the permitting
What I don't
requirements.
understand is your questioning as far as that's a separate project.
It sure is, but it's costing the taxpayer money, because now we're redoing we're eliminating 2/3 of it, therefore, aren't changes going to have to be made in the overall
To the
plan?
road?
No, for the entire project. Isn't there an overall plan? That plan will have to be revised. Permitting might have to change because of the revision of a plan, no?
No, not, that's a totally separate project.
So the phase one is a totally separate project
Total-
from the rest of the phases of the
Well, yeah,
EOTC?
Phase one is the road construction.
Correct.
That I think was around
Yeah.
800,000, I'm not
Yeah.
positive, Tim. For the access road,
Right.
and a lot of that was, moving, installing storm
Right.
sewers, so we could, when it was built originally, back in, 95, and 96, when it opened.
Right.
It was only one lane, they
Right.
didn't have the storm sewer sewers, so now we have to go through the storm sewer, so that's the cost of, changes, why it had to be widened, because of the type of use.
Okay, but again, the architect or the overall project manager will not have to go in and revise the plans. They're just gonna scratch the additional phases, correct?
No, that's not correct. Phase 1A is the burn tower.
Right.
We're talking phase 2, which.
Has been
was
eliminated.
Well, for now it has,
I'm sorry
you know,
for now?
Well, yeah, until things change, but, as of now, we cannot afford to do that part of phase 2.
All right, well, we're jumping around here because we're
Well, yes.
pretty definitive, just a week ago on this and the
Well, we had
week
to
prior.
drop it,
You had to drop.
because of
All-
cost.
All right, thank you.
Any other guests, Ms. Short?
Mary Shorten, Jim Park. I'm just curious, on Thursday, you'd stated that there would be no rock removal. On Friday, you had an interview with WFMZ, and you stated that you may need to cut into the mountain still. Just wanna know which is it? Either you
Not-
will.
What my exact words, I do believe, I'd have to listen to the tape if it's still available, is that, not in the vicinity of the church. I said there may have to be a little bit over near the existing building, and we're hoping that doesn't occur. So, if I said that during the meeting, maybe I was wrong.
And as far as the new idea that you're thinking, so that parking lot would be completely removed, by
That's what
this
it
building,
appears
is that
like
correct?
now.
There'll be no parking
So we
there.
have to come up with another plan, we have to look at our options. Correct.
Thank you.
Any other guests? Hearing none, we move on.
Next item is the proclamation, Pop-Out Day, May 8th, 2019.
Motion to adopt the proclamation. Second the motion.
Mr. O'Gore?
Yes.
Mr. Gerhart?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes. George, yes, yeah. I was looking for Georgia there, I didn't see her behind Haley. Georgia?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, we'll read the proclamation. Oh, I have it here.
There it is.
Okay, whereas, Pop-Out Day, whereas the youth of Carbon County is one of the county's most valuable resources, and whereas 1 out of every 5 children in the United States is obese and at risk of becoming obese. Obesity is now proven to be a direct cause of health-related diseases and cost business and industry millions of dollars each year. Whereas data have proven that there is a direct relationship between increased soft drink consumption, inactivity, and overweight children. Whereas it is further understood that high sugar beverages provide limited nutritional value and should be consumed on a limited basis as per the food guide pyramid. And whereas there are other beverages available that offer nutritional advantages such as water, 100% fruit juices, and milk. Now therefore the County of Carbon Commission, Board of Commissioners do hereby proclaim May 8th, 2019 as Pop-Out Day in Carbon County and urge all children, their parents, and the citizens of Carbon County to restrain or restrict their consumption of empty calories as in soft drinks, iced tea, and sports drinks. Adopted this day. Georgia?
Thank you.
Thank you for your efforts and trying to
Thank
educate the school students.
Thank you.
And it is a serious problem.
Thank you.
Georgia. Unfortunately, our youth are not getting out there and getting the exercise
Size
they
they need,
need. They
exactly.
sit in front of their computer and TV and, so, thank you, Georgia, for educating our students. Okay,
Next item is the report of executive sessions held.
there were none?
Department reports, budget transfers.
So moved. Second the motion.
Mr. O'Gore?
Yes.
Mr. Gerhart?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
There were no supplemental appropriations. Approval of payroll check numbers 71024 through 71057, and direct deposit check numbers 6008155 through 6008568 for the net payroll paid through the payroll fund checking account for all county funds totaling $573,030.32. This is the payroll dated April 26, 2019.
Motion to ratify. Second the motion.
Mr. O'Gore?
Yes.
Mr. Gerhart?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Approval of check numbers 205366 through 205448 for expenditures to the general fund clearing account totaling $1,025,057.23.
So moved. Second the motion.
Mr. O'Gore?
Yes, with the exception of the bills for the Times News and Blue Ridge Communications, to which I abstain because I'm a part-time employee of the Times News, which is a sister company of Blue Ridge Communications, and I would like to present to the Keeper of Records a memorandum stating my potential conflict of interest with Pencor-related companies as per the advice of the State Ethics Commission.
Mr. Gerhart?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
The Treasurer's report?
Move to approve. Second the motion.
Mr. O'Gore?
Yes.
Mr. Gerhart?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes. At this time, we will recess our weekly meeting of the Board of Commissioners. This time, I'll call the monthly meeting of the Salary Board to order.
The first item is the approval of the minutes of the Salary Board meeting held April 4th, 2019, and reconvened April 11th, 2019.
So moved. Second the motion.
Mr. Cramsey?
Yes.
Mr. O'Gore?
Yes.
Mr. Gerhart?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes. Are there any guests concerning Salary Board business this time? Hearing none, we'll move on.
Report of executive sessions held.
There was one executive session held on May 2nd, 2019 at 9:30 a.m.
Next item, Court Administration, Mr. Armstrong.
Change the rate of one, District Justice Secretary to $20.09 per hour, grade 7 step U, $15.43 per hour, grade 7 step H, effective May 2nd, 2019.
So moved. Second the motion.
Mr. Cramsey?
Yes.
Mr. O'Gore?
Yes.
Mr. Gerhart?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Change the rate of one, District Justice Secretary 1, $14.26 per hour, grade 6 step G, $11.95 per hour, grade 6 step A, effective May 6th, 2019.
So moved.
Second the motion.
Mr. Cramsey?
Yes.
Mr. O'Gore?
Yes.
Mr. Gerhart?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes. Okay, any further business for the Salary Board? Hearing none, meeting adjourned. Okay, now reconvene the weekly meeting of the Board.
Next item is the Personnel Report.
Move to approve. Second the motion.
Mr. O'Gore?
Yes.
Mr. Gerhart?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Correspondence was received as listed. Copies will be made available to the press upon request. Advertising. For approval, authorize the advertisement of the public notice regarding the Carbon County Solid Waste Advisory Committee meeting and public hearing to be held June 25th, 2019.
So moved. Second the motion.
Mr. O'Gore?
I abstain since I am a part-time employee of the Times News where the advertisement will be published.
Mr. Gerhart?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Boards and authorities, Children and Youth Advisory Board, reappointments, 3-year terms to May 1st, 2022. Diane Ludicky of Jim Thorpe, David McAndrew Jr. of Summit Hill, and Kathleen Schwick of Lehighton.
Move for the reappointments. Second the motion.
Mr. O'Gore?
Yes.
Mr. Gerhart?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Planning Commission, appointment to an unexpired term to December 31st, 2021. Dennis DeMera, Lehighton, Pennsylvania.
Move for the appointment. Second the motion.
Mr. O'Gore?
Yes.
Mr. Gerhart?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
CCT Lanta for approval and execution. Fiscal year 2019-2020, Medical Assistance Transportation Program, Participation Grant Agreement and Assurance Compliance.
So moved. Second the motion.
Mr. O'Gore?
Yes.
Mr. Gerhart?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Emergency Management for approval and execution, the 2020 Hazardous Material Emergency Preparedness Grant Application in the amount of $5,600 for submission to PEMA. Carbon County share is $1,400.
So moved.
Second motion.
Mr. O'Gore?
Yes.
Mr. Gerhart?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Liquid fuels for approval. Recommendation was received from the purchasing department to accept the proposal submitted by Jim Thorpe Auto Rentals for the lease of two 15-passenger vans for transporting the liquid fuel summer program employees. The term shall be May 20th to August 9th, 2019, at a total cost of $6,750. This represents no increase from last year.
So moved.
Second motion.
Mr. O'Gore?
Yes.
Mr. Gerhart?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Solicitors report?
Thank you. Communications 911 for approval and execution. A revised communications site lease agreement with Pennsylvania Turnpike Commission, which will allow 911 Center to install communications equipment onto the Turnpike's new Big Boulder, new tower at Big Boulder, and install a new shelter at the site. This replaces the agreement approved by the Commissioners on March 28, 2019, agenda item 19167.
So moved.
Second motion.
Mr. O'Gore?
Yes.
Mr. Gerhart?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Parks, banner request for approval and execution. A banner permit request submitted for the Bach and Hondo Corral Incorporated for the Bach and Hondo 35th anniversary concert. The banner request May 4, 2019 to May 19, 2019.
Move for the banner request.
Second motion.
Mr. O'Gore?
Yes.
Mr. Gerhart?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Used equipment for adoption resolution authorizing disposition of used equipment which are vehicles valued at more than $2,000.
So moved.
Second motion.
Mr. O'Gore?
Yes.
Mr. Gerhart?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Solid waste for approval and execution.
Excuse me, can I just ask, was that motion include advertising?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no.
Because I thought it was just the resolution that we adopted.
Don't authorize the advertising. It was in that motion.
Okay,
I
I would
have
like
to,
to
amend my motion.
abstain from that vote, since I'm a part-time employee of the Times News, where the advertisement will be published. Thank you.
Solid waste for approval and execution. Municipal waste disposal capacity agreements with the landfills as listed.
So moved.
Second motion.
Mr. O'Gore?
Yes.
Mr. Gerhart?
Yes.
Mr. Notstein?
Yes.
Nothing further.
Any further business?
Yes, under further business, I'd like to announce that the county has had some conversations with the people that have the kiosk machines here in Jim Thorpe that the borough uses. We have met with them and talked about a lot of the issues that we have regarding the parking lot and the moving of the booth, which unfortunately was supposed to occur again this past week, which didn't because PPL didn't show up in 2 days that were scheduled again. So, and the electrician was on site, so that didn't occur. But we are looking at we are moving forward. We're trying to determine for sure how many places, kiosks will be placed in and around the parking lot, the most convenient places for the people. We're hoping or looking at how many handheld units we'll need for tickets. We talked to the kiosk people on many of the issues we had and how to handle the renters, the people that are on boards and authorities that come in for meetings, the jury commissioner or jurors that come in for juror selection and all these different things. And what we could do, how we could handle certain things, how we can differentiate the Jim Thorpe kiosk machines from the county kiosk machines, because we had an issue when the kiosks were put in Jim Thorpe. People were putting money in there and getting the ticket at the county meter, so it was confusion. That has really settled down. It was just in the beginning. So we are looking at it. As soon as we get a list of everything we need, including the tickets, and talking to the police chief and Jim Thorpe here, some of the things that we want to make sure are included up front in the pricing, which weren't included in the borough and then cropped up later. So as soon as we meet with them again and make a final determination of everything we need, we'll get proposals and proceed with the kiosk machines. I think we can have these installed before the fall foliage, if everything goes well. Depends when we get together with the company, and the delivery time, we were told, is probably at least 10 weeks for delivery on the kiosk equipment, so I don't know if.
Yeah, so what we know is that, you know, with the parking attendant at the lot, it requires everyone that enters the lot to stop and pay the fee. And we think the kiosk will eliminate that to some degree, whereby vehicles will be allowed to just continuously flow into that lot, find a parking spot, and the driver will have to go to the kiosk to pay instead of stopping to pay the attendant. We've had some really good discussions with the police chief, Joe Schatz, and he did provide us a lot of help. And I know he welcomed that idea, because obviously his department is the one that oversees the traffic flow here, where traffic gets crazy. So we're looking at probably a dozen kiosks, and it would be a substantial investment. They're about $10,000 each. So we're looking at over $100,000 investment out there. In addition to that, we're going to buy the equipment for our monitors or our parking attendants to be able to walk the lot and scan the license plates of vehicles to see if they're allowed there or not allowed there when there's not a tag on the dashboard. And by that we mean the county employees' vehicles will be able to enter into the allowable vehicles in that lot. So if there's no tag on the windshield of a vehicle and the parking attendant would scan that license plate, it would show up that that person's allowed to be there because they're a registered county employee. So it's a work in progress, a difficult one, but not one that's insurmountable, but we think it's an investment into the community and into tourism. And just one more thought on that is you saw in today's agenda where we are selling the old buses that we have from Lanta. That's all but two. And when I say that, I mean that we had contacted PennDOT and talked to Lanta about keeping two of those buses, which are either 2012 or 2013, but in good operating condition. And we plan to hire our parking attendants, or one or two of them, to drive that bus as a shuttle in the lot during heavy business seasons. Obviously fall foliage, when hundreds of cars park out there and they're parking all the way up at the other end of the lot, past where the old bridge was. That's a long distance for people to walk to get to downtown Jim Thorpe. We're gonna shuttle them at the county's expense. So that's another investment that we plan to make to try to improve the situation out in that lot for visitors here, for the town, and for the county.
And I also want to say that it has been a team effort. We know that parking in our lot has been a major issue for years and years. As Commissioner O'Gorek said, we've been sitting down with Chief Schatz. We went with the $10,000 units. We could have gone with a cheaper unit, $8,500, but our units will take cash, coin, credit card, or an app on your phone. We also talked about improving the lighting at the far end of our lot so that it'll be safe for the people when they're parking their vehicles. Also, probably making an investment in blacktopping the upper part of the lot, which is going to make it a lot easier for our maintenance guys when they come out of the storage facility. So a big investment, but you know, something that we think that we need here in Carbon County.
Commissioners' reports, Mr. O'Gorek.
I want to just speak briefly on the agenda item that relates to the solid waste plan. And the reason I do want to say something about that is because I and the county administrator sat in with our consultant who helped us to do the plan for a 10-year period to discuss with landfills the potential for making space available in those landfills. Commissioners to work with supervisors and borough councils in the county with projects that they might have in their communities. And it doesn't have to be demolition. It could be cleanup, it could be a municipal project up that these landfills would accept that refuse disposal as an in-kind contribution at no expense. So I think it opens the door to some potential creative projects for the county and the municipalities to do going forward. This is something we never had in the plan, so I thank our consultant for approaching it in a manner where we can ask the landfills who were seeking the contracts that are all listed here to be able to not only get business from the various municipalities in the county, but also for them to give back to the county in in-kind contribution. So I'm pretty excited about that. It was kind of a unique learning experience where we talked about all different types of refuse, including contaminants of, asbestos sometimes is in some of these things, but different things, electronics, different things that, could be at some point in time disposed of as an in-kind contribution that is through the kindness of these landfill operators. And so it was a pretty good process, and our responsibility, even though we're not in the recycling business, is to prepare a 10-year plan and to make sure there's storage capacity for all of the municipalities in Carbon County for the next 10 years. And that's what this plan basically does, but it goes one step further and sees what those facilities can do for the county and its municipalities, and I think that's a good thing. That's all I would have.
Mr. Gerhart?
I just wanted to add to that a little bit. I actually did an interview last week with Ben Stemrick, and there's 49 illegal dumping sites here in Carbon County that we are going to try and get cleaned up. But I think the problem with garbage here, not only in Carbon County, it affects Pike, Monroe, all the different counties surrounding us. Tourism is a major industry here in Carbon County, and you come in and you certainly don't want to see garbage along our roadways. I talked with Tim Fritz, our warden. We have an opportunity to maybe get some inmates out there helping. The municipalities that would be using the particular inmates would be responsible for supervision. So I think there's options out there. Juvenile probation, I spoke with them last week with Joe Greco. We're going to be doing a cleanup between Jim Thorpe and Nescahoning. So I think it's got to be a joint effort, working hand in hand, keep America beautiful. If we reach out to them, there's grant opportunities through them for cleanups. But I think once we identify the sites, which we have, once we clean them up, there's funding out there. There's actually funding for cameras that would deter people from the illegal dumping. So it's going to be a big undertaking, but I think it's something that we need to do here in Carbon and our surrounding counties.
And let me just piggyback on that. That's exactly some of the creative ideas that I was referring to, besides demolition in some towns, illegal dumping. And from time to time, we find out about eyesores and problems and things. And when you collect all that stuff, not that you collect it, when you gather all that stuff, getting rid of it sometimes comes with a cost. And now we have the ability to get rid of some of that refuse, especially like projects like that, along with those other ones that I mentioned. That's exactly some of the things that we accomplished in this new 10-year plan that allows for in-kind contribution of dumping in the various landfills.
Just one more thing for me. Just want to remind everyone, Community Safety Day is this Saturday at Mock Chunk Lake Park. It goes from 10 a.m. To 2 p.m. So I encourage everyone to come out. That's all I have.
Just real quick, along with Commissioner Bork and Peter Hart was saying, it's really disgusting when you think about it. When you drive along the roads here, especially now that the snow's gone, and the lack of respect in this county, and people that travel through it, and just tossing their garbage, whether it be empty containers from fast food, other garbage, their tires, their TVs, is a total lack of respect for our county's environment in the future. I don't think I just wish I hope our programs are more successful in catching those people, and I don't think our fines are stiff enough. I think those that are caught littering and dumping ought to be mandatory cleanup for so many hours, first offense, you know, and then triple it for the second offense, maybe they'll get it. Let them spend their weekends out picking up garbage if they do have a job, you know, and, you know, they're making a mess, let's hold them responsible, and I wish we'd have, come up with, better ways of, really tracking or catching these people. It's not that easy in a, stretch between Jim Thorpe and Nescahoning, it's a mess, but if there's no other cars on the road, they just throw their litter out in the roads, they don't care, and it's a sad world that we live in, there's a total lack of respect for a lot of things. That's all I have. Meeting adjourned. Okay, I'm gonna make Mary go first today.
I don't have any questions.
Okay, Ben.
Oh, I'm Dominic.
I mean, Dominic, I'm sorry.
I mean,
Oh,
two dudes with haircuts in a suit, it's all the same. It's made of mine. If someone were to not pay the kiosk, what would a parking ticket be? Would that be like $20 more than it would be now, or?
That part hasn't been decided.
We need to address that by ordinance,
Yeah,
and we will.
When it gets closer, I'd say, when we know they're coming soon, we'll have to, change the ordinance with an effective date. And so I don't think we can really, we can't give you a number now yet, but, once we have them installed, we're gonna have to have an effective date for that new ordinance and the fines and that, so.
For the shuttle by the parking attendants, where would it go to and from again?
It will stay strictly in the lot, Dominic.
Okay, good.
So it will not enter public highway.
No.
But we plan to have our people, commute from down here at the booth up as far as the parking goes, so that people have an easier time getting to downtown Jim Thorpe than having to walk a mile or so to get there after they park.
And my last question, you will no longer be a commissioner this time next year. Can you guarantee that you will be a senior games athlete?
Well, look, I talked to those people this week, and I thought, I'm gonna tell you something, so on a serious note, that remains to be seen, but, that's a great thing that's happening up there, and, we were there, for the opening ceremonies, and to see over 200 senior citizens, get engaged in not only competition, but socializing with each other. It's really one of the nicest things we do as commissioners, and I told those people the same thing the other day, that, in a crazy world where things are not always stress-free, walking into that community center to see the smiling faces on those senior citizens was something special. So,
Hope to see you there.
maybe I'll get there, but we need more Panther Valley, and I'm gonna put a plug in for Panther Valley. I didn't see a whole lot of yellow shirts up there, unfortunately, the Lehighton people, and maybe it's because most of the things are in Lehighton, that it's closer to their home. Maybe we'll have to run shuttles from the Panther Valley down there, but I'm gonna tell you that someday Panther Valley will prevail.
How about Mr. Crampsey? What about his?
I think we're gonna get a tag team between Mr. O'Gore and myself. We'll represent Panther Valley very well.
That's it for me. Thank you,
The
gentlemen,
North,
so much.
the North needs some help. I think Southland's won, 5 years in a row now, I believe it is. And, it's all in fun, and that's what it's about, is getting out there and having a good time. And most of these people, they're competitive when they're up there, but when they sit down with these other people, they're meeting new faces. They look forward to seeing, the people from the other areas. They only see them once a year maybe, and Hardin County is one of the few counties in the state that does this program. And, it's for their health. It's getting people out of the house, moving around, making friends, it keeps you healthy. So, get out there, Dominic.
I'm only 26, I can't get down there for 40 years.
No, but you can volunteer your time
Yes,
to
I
help
can.
those things. And that's another great thing, that the high school kids that, come from different schools to help out in different functions, they put a lot of time in. And they really have a good time working with the seniors and everything.
And the JROTC.
And the ROTC, they always do the opening, program with the flag presentation, so they do a good job.
31 years, Dominic, long time. So I said it's an opportunity for people to make new friends, to see people that they haven't seen in the last year, you know, an opportunity to compete against one another. And I know a lot of people are very competitive, they like to win, but it's just a great day, and it's, you know, something that we're all proud of.
You only have to be 60 years old, so I haven't seen you there, Andy.
44 years. There we go.
Anything else, Dominic?
No, that's all for me, thank you.
Kelly?
The only thing I would ask is a copy of the proclamation.
Sure. Amy?
Good morning.
Morning.
Copy of the proclamation as well. And in regards to, the kiosk thing, how many spots are in that lot currently?
Well, it's kind of close to 350, 400.
Okay.
It's hard to tell with the, not having any lines in the upper part and where the fence is at.
Okay, so it's safe to say over 300?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's over.
And that's why the storage facility is at the very, very far end of the lot to maximize the amount of parking spaces that we were going to have, so. But it's going to be, something that has been needed for a while, something that we've been discussing for quite a while, something that we didn't know if we were gonna be able to do because of the different scenarios in our lot, but I think it's gonna work out well.
And you know, Amy, we have a grant to take the traffic out of the lot to some extent as part of the linkage of the DNL trail. And we've met with our consultant about how that's gonna be designed. But we're hopeful that when people come across the walking bridge when it opens, and we hope that'll be by June, when they get across there, and now they won't be able to stay out of the lot until the project's done, but eventually cross that bridge and take a path down along the river that takes them out of the parking lot, hikers and bikers, so that there's less activity in that lot and that it's safer for everyone involved. So we're doing a lot of things. It's a work in progress. It's gonna take some time. We even have to look at buying those kiosks within the code regulations because it's a big number, and we'll have to see about the bidding process or if they're on state contracts. So we have a lot of work to do on it, but we've progressed to the point that we've basically said to each other that we feel like that's the way to go. We walked around a lot looking at potential sites out there where you can put the kiosk. We think it's probably like about 10 in the lot, one out here for the parking spots, one out here for the annex lot. And then there's one over there by the Hooven building, that's our lot there. So the meters will go, the kiosk will come in, and we'll have to figure it all out, how it all unfolds.
That trail project, I think we're looking at 2021 for that.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a while on that, unfortunately, but it's still in the planning stages, but I think that's the date they had picked out that we hope to do construction. Don't hold me to that, as it's that far away, unfortunately.
And it's gonna call for renters to be reassigned spots out there, handicap spots, county vehicles. So we gotta look at the total picture and figure it out, what is best to put who, where, with regard to, you know, those available spots, and then open the rest of it up to public parking.
Okay. And, if we talk finances, is this gonna be coming out of the parking fund?
It will,
Absolutely.
it will.
And then with regards to the solid waste stuff that you guys are talking about, when does that plan go into effect, the 10-year plan?
So it's gonna be
January 1.
advertised.
It's gotta be,
January 2020.
yeah,
Okay.
2020, it's 90 days that they have for hearing. They'll have the hearing on the 25th here at 6 o'clock in this room at the park out back. So, they'll have the hearing in that 90-day, I forget the date, I think the clock just started ticking. So for that 90 days until the end of the hearing period,